folks, Ian Palumbo here again. We're in the middle of nowhere, Michigan. Temperature is about 16 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty damn cold outside. And we're going to be sitting here a few days. So we need to winterize the airplane. How do we do that? Well, my recommendation would be before you land, you or your co-pilot or your flight attendant or somebody comes back here and open up the faucets. Let that water run. Make sure that if you're going to do that, that the drain is open so that all that water goes outside the airplane and not inside the airplane. Passengers are off the airplane, they're on their way, and it's time to make sure that all the water is out of those tanks. So you want to drain the tanks. How do you do that? Water heaters are off. After you land, you want to make sure that the water system is pressurized. Make sure the APU air is on. Walk back here. Take off these covers. And you want to open up the V1 and V2 valves. There's actually 3 valves. There's V1, which is here. There's V2, which is here. And there's V3, which is outside the airplane. So how are you going to do that? V1, we're going to keep right there. V2, we're going to open it. How do we open it? We turn it so that it's parallel. Now once all the tanks are empty, you want to close the V2 valve, that's this one right here, and you have to purge the lines. How do we purge the system? How do we clear these lines? First thing we want to do is make sure that the water heaters are off. There's the water heaters. It's off. Second thing you want to do is close the V1 valve. There's the V1 valve. There's off. Straight up and down. Then we'll turn the AB valve to purge. This is the AB valve. We'll turn it to purge. We'll open up the lavatory and the galley faucets. Again. There you go. And you'll hear that. And it's going to put a lot of water out. Sometimes you want to close the close the faucet, let the pressure build up again. I'll even switch it to the other side. Open it one more time, and look at that. You want to get all of that water out of those lines, because if any water stays in the lines, it could freeze, and if it freezes, it could break the lines, and then you've got a real big mess and an expense. So you want to do that here in the galley. Just keep that open. Let that air flow. You'll feel the airflow. You also want to make sure that the lav faucets are open. Now, in some airplanes, there's a little micro switch right underneath the carpet here. When you step on it, hear that click? It turns the water on and off. So you can open up the faucets, step, hear the click, and let the water drain out through the airplane that way. Now, of course, once you come off it, the water's going to stop. So you're going to have to stand here until it's done. Don't forget the coffee pot lines. Yeah, these lines need to be purged as well. Need to be clear of any liquid in those lines. So there's a little valve here. You'll turn it, you'll open it up, and let the airplane purge those lines. Now, all these airplanes are different. You may have a valve here, you may have it somewhere else. You may have a valve and then you have to press a button to purge the lines. Just check your airplane manuals to make sure that you're doing it properly, but don't forget the coffee lines. And when you're done, the valve goes back to its proper position. There's one more thing you need to purge, and that is right up here in the forward lav. There's a sink here. Press this button, sink will come down. Look at that. Drain holes are clear. And then press and hold this until all of those lines are clear. No liquids coming out, it's just air. When you're done, close it back up. Now after the lines are clear, turn the AB valve back to system. So here is the AB valve, we'll turn it back to system, and then we'll go outside. We want to go to the water filling system and remove all the caps. free valve. The water is left to come out. Open that. And all that water come out. Leave it like that. Close it up. And lastly, all this stuff has to be taken off the airplane. Those cans, those water bottles, all that stuff has to go. Because if it explodes, it'll make a huge mess. Not only in here, but anything that you have in storage in the back of the airplane as well. All must be taken off the plane. And now, your winterization is complete.